Are you there? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. We're gonna look at the Hakavanot. We got into this thing. It started talking about the Ekyas and exactly what it meant. So we'll look over there, and I think that's not the right place. Here's the right place. Let's see. Where do we start then? So we could start on page Tafresh Samach Aleph, I think. Let's see, I don't have it. Let's see, 28, and then 29 is on the top of the next page. Okay, so let's look at page 20, and we'll read the light print on Sadi Zion. Sadi Zion, here we go. So it says, V'hine Elohim Mochim Hey Meluvashem B'tochen Netzachod Yisod the Imah Kaniskar. Oh, I'm supposed to be reading the light print. Hamochim Shechazam Mekabel Hem Shlosha Mochim Chabad the Chabad Hem Boim Meluvashem Toch the Nai the Imah. The Haina Mabuch HaChochma Dezah, that is the Muach of Chochma Dezah. Meluvash Toch Netzach the Imah B'Much B'Binah Dezah B'Ho the Imah B'Much Hadas. Is the Za Meluvash Toch Yisod the Imah Kanizker. We know that he's over Hanai the Imah Bechem Shloshu Milui Shemu Shal Akia. So he says that's what they are. They're actually a Milui, the Milui of the name Akia, which is Kasa Kamag Kana. Bechem Sheshnei Akia, Sheshem Akia, who be'ima v'lechein anai the ibach became shemer shal milui akia. So he wants to say that the miluis rather miluyim. So he said anyway the words are one of it. He says the nai of ima are miluyim inside of zeranpin. So v'atach b'farish rav ofen v'tzuras Shemos shall Akia Shiet Benai the Imah. So he says Bekabolas Hazah as a mochin the godless. Hazah receives the mochin the godless Oz Hanai the Ibach became Besod Shloshu Mini Miluya Akia. So says it again. Netzach the Ibach B'Shesham is Lavish Muach HaChop the Zachah B'Chu Akia Milui like this, which is Kasa. Let's skip down a little bit and we'll go to comma and then skip down to number Kaf Hey where he had talked about Konet. Shehem Gematria Tana. So they put all of these together, and I think we mentioned that yesterday, the Gematria of Tana. So you take them all together, they add up to the word Tana. Gematria Tana. Now that's 455. That's what they're like when Zah is receiving godless. What does that look like? Kachagam Mishtana Shemu Shalanai the Iba also changed Shubo Mislavish and Mochin the Kaddas Shehimanai the Iba Behem Rak Hashemo. So it's still the Nai of Ima, but the name changes slightly. The Iba Behem Rak Hashemos shall Milui Akia. It's only the Miluyim themselves. This is really pretty much where we're at right now. Akia levad bilti osis a peshuta b'shel shemos. Akia without the peshutos. So he said shemos shel milui akia b'shem benai the ibis. And now let's talk about them. Bismanim shachas and mochin the kadnas. He says, well, first of all, the first one you have is kuf mem. You have to take the 21s out. And that's at the ibach he raka milui the kofa takasa. Bli osis a peshuta kazer. So he says these are the this is the pasha, that pasha, that's the 21. He says, excuse me, 161. Who b'gematria comes. If you take that out, then it's all you got left is this. Hod the Imah who rock the Miluim Shem Akir the Miluim Alofen the Vad Gazet. He's going to be gematria kuf kaf bet. It comes to kuf kaf bet. So the Imah who rock Miluim the Vad Shel Akir Miluim Haki the Vad, and it looks like this. It's just the Aleph KK Yud. This is the whole name right here. So what is he telling me? Who gematria Kal. So you just take the 21 out. It comes down to 20 to Kal. And then he says the Kum, he says Kum who netzach the Imah of the Kuf Kaf Bet, which is what comes out. You take the 21 away. He the Imah Shahu the Imah. The Kal Shahu Yisod the Imah Biyachad Shloshtam Ein Begematria Shatzav 392. So if you take the Miluim out, which is the same as taking out 63. Out of the total of 455, you get down to 392. He says so this is what's actually coming in continence. That is the moach is clothed within these letters. The Abba Boy Meluvashim Tochanai the Imah, so you have Abba inside of Imah, Varanai the Ibrahim Yoser Hitzonim Minai the Abba, they're really more on the outside, they're on the outside of the Nai of Abba. The Abba's on the inside, V'lechein Yoser Kurovin Musogim Elenu Anai the Ibrahim Yoser Benai the Abba, so therefore they're more reachable, they're closer to us. So this is why we start that way, because that's the first part. Now that might be the answer to the reason why you have Yiskad over Yiskadash, and it begins with the left side. I think as we probably speculated on that before, but the Imah Kodem Benai the Ava, because they're the Kavan al Nai the Imah, so want to have that Kavanah. Tevas Yizgad or Mitzchala the Shnei Tevas, which are Tagidal. This is like, once again, the word Yiskadal, to understand the inner workings of this, he says, I guess. He says that you're going to make it in this word Tagidal. So, well, now what does this mean? How do we work that out? Who? That Tevis Tagi, which is a gematria of 413, who begematria kamizba Shatzav Ekya. So if you take Shatzav, the 392, which is just the Miluim, plus add the Ekya back into it, you get a Tagi. So let's see what he said. So light print of Hashatzav, who Ramos l'shosha milui ekyer levad beli osiosechem. It's really just a milim without the b'shuto v'shechem b'nai de'iber l'moch de'kandas v'chavagam anu mechabrem l'shatzav. Into this 392 we add down a 21 Hashem ekyer pashu b'gematria ka rather kaf aleph. Okushenechav Rabbi Yachad the 392. With the 21, Shnecha B'Gematria Tagi, that's your Tagi, that's the first three letters, or excuse me, that's part of the Yiskada. So he said, Tagi, Shehem Gematria Shatzav, which has the Gematria, little Shatzav, 1 second. It has the Gematria of Shatzav, the Ekye, Hema Mochen the Katas, the Za Mitzad Ima. So understand that. So that's going to be the mochin that are going to come into Zer Anpin in the time of Katniss. That's coming to David Zav from Imah. So it's the word Tagi. So now we're talking about the Shemus and the mochin the Katniss. Now let's talk about the mochin the Katniss. So we understand the mochin the Katniss are going to be Tagi. Plus, you're also going to have the 21 added on to it. Excuse me, Tagi, it's not Tagi, it's Shatzav. Added 21 gets Tagi. So this is part of the name Yiskado. The Katas, the Nuk, Hem Gam Shemus Elokim Bezecha Bechem Shavim. So they're also the Katniss, the Mochin, the Katniss, and the Nuk are also Elokim. He says so it's Elokim to the Zaz, Elokim to the Nuk. Hanuk lokeches as aris hanmanai the imara b'shechet meluvesh b'zah. So she gets a ha'ara, he says, for the nai of Ima, which is now inside of Zeranpin. So acha sheneknesach b'mochin b'tzad Ima, hameluvash b'nai the Ima b'zah. So when we see that these mochin that are coming from the side of Eden, which are clothed in the nai of Ima, going into Zeranpin, Sakting partsufo le'eses spheros, and that coming into Zeranpin really builds him up into 10 spheros. Now we're talking, I think, about Katniss here. As yotzem ha'aros ha'mochin, but that's after that there is another secondary light. This is a secondary light too. Got another secondary light that going to go to the nukva v'gama aras nai the ibach b'tzarab gufa they're coming for the body of Zeranpin. The bokim gufo, they break through the walls, so they get filtered through the walls. V'yotzin l'chutz ba'ach, they go through the backside of Zeranpin, where the nukvo is located, and misaknim as parts of the nuk, and they start shining into the nuk and build her into 10 spheros. But it's kevan sha'anuk mekabela bezecha barak ha'arab. So, but what's happening here is that he got the mochin, which we said were what came out to be the tagi altogether. He's putting together with Ima. He says mizat rak ha'aravelo atzmuso. It doesn't get actually the mochin the way that Zeranpin got them. He has to get the meluvish in the walls, going through the walls of Zeranpin. So he says, and then you go like this. So since it's only a secondary light, just a glow from it, a radiance from it, so therefore we see what he said, that ha'ara that you're getting, which is levushim of the levushim, shemas and beloyim shel ekya k'moshe yesh b'zer anpin. They're not going to be combinations of ekya. There got to be something else. Kaven shebezecha b'chem be'etzim. There in Zah, you actually have the mochin coming into him. B'kan he rak ha'ara levad. B'zah hanayi de'ibach b'chem miluim shemas ekya. They're going back over here again. The nai, the even that comes to the Zer Anpin, are these combinations which are just the miluim of the shem ekya. V'kan benuk hu b'so tumuras v'chiluv shem ekya below shem ekya be'etzim. But it's not the name ekya by itself. He says, so Hishem ekya b'chiluv osius shel acharechem. So now you move everything to the left. Now here you see the left is really where the nukva is located. So you're moving over to the left side. He said, "B'chilev osius shel acharechem heim shem boku." Behind the achrech of the aleph you put a base. For achrech of a hey you put a vav. For achrech yud is come the kaf. For achrech of a hey vav b'yachad. Put them all together. What do you get? You get boku. So we see this in some length when we're talking about the Amida, but when you're talking to deal with the binyan of the Nook, so we have to remember this, that this is where it's coming into. It's showing you that the light is shining from Zer Anpin in the form of this name Boko. Shem Boko Shuhu Chiluf Atamuru Shem Ekya, who begematria Lamadawit. And what we know about Lamadawit, well, besides which it's the day after, I can't forget that it's the day after Lag BaOmer, but it's the Dal of the Omer, I guess, Shuhu Dal. So he says, so when Malchus receives this Ha'ara, which is coming from the Nai of Ima, which is inside of Zer Anpin, Shuhu Shem Boku, Shuhu Begematria Dal, which comes in, and this is the other part of Yiskado. So Rabadal, Nikra Oz HaMalchus Dal V'Chaniya, she's now called really, she's getting secondhand light, and she's called an impoverished, a poor person, poor. Nirmaza b'shem b'zecha b'shuchu b'gematria dal al shem shihi dal v'chaniya. So therefore we had Yiskado would be the mochi going into Zer Anpin, and then going over to the Nook in the form of Dal. So let's see, he's going to say it. So Malchus Nikra Dala V'Haniya, the Malchus is called by this name, Dala V'Haniya. Kaven, so he said, Kaven Shuhu Lokechas Ge'ez Rak Hatamuras V'Hachilav. She's not getting the light itself. She's only getting a filtered version. Shel Shem Eki Shuhu Shem Boku Ve'enim B'Kabbalas Atzmo Shel Shem Eki. Now he said, let me see where we're at here. He says, okay, V'Chavizecha V'Chasod Nirmaz B'Tevis Yizgado Shuhu B'Schalek L'Shnei Tevis, which are Tagi and Dal. Tagi the Za, so that's what's coming into Zer Anpen, the Tagi Shuhu HaShlosha Milui Akya. Im Shem Akid Pashut Bekabel Chazah, V'Dal Shuhu B'Gematri Shem Boku Mekabalas Anok. So he said the Osius Dal Hu Lunok, the Shem Boku, and it comes to her in the form of a switch of the name Akya to Boku. Shuhu B'Gematri Dal V'Zechem B'Ramazim Alanok. So this is telling you, this is the nature of the Nook, is never getting the same kind of, at this point, the same type of light as their anpen. So he says, Shebakech Boko Shuhu Chilav Shem Akya Hu Benok Muchrach Hu Shashem Akya Be'etzem Hu Bezer Atzmo, that is the etzem of it. But the Chen Kedei L'Ramos Al Shem Akya Be'etzem Al Azaz. So we want to talk about that name when it's inside of that. Ana Mechabrim in Shatza, so therefore we want to say that they're together. Inside is their anpen. All of this is there, the potential for all of this, I guess you would say. Shatza Soda Shloshach B'Milui Ekya, which is the secret that we said before of the 3 Miluim of Ekya. As Shem Ekya Be'etzem, which is Shem Ekya by itself, there's the Miluim of them. V'yacha the Shatzav im Ekya in B'Gematria Tagi. That's where we got to that Tagi. So this is the Imadika aspect, which is the Ekya, and then the Miluim. So putting together, that gives you the name, part of the name Yisgado. So he says, moving on, he says, let's see. So he said, V'Gava'ata B'Farish Arava Gavana Shachot Tevis Yisgado. Now we want to talk about this. Pirsha Gavana Chusha B'Tevis Yisgado. Shehema Mochin the Kattis is their anpen. Shehu aromas Ba'osios Tagi, which is what's coming into their anpen. Vehena Mochin the Kattis the Nook, Sheramazal Ba'osios Dal. I kind of read a little bit wrong, but one goes as Tagi, goes to Zal, and the other one goes to the Dal, goes to the Nook. Yisgado, there you go, Nisgado. Pirish Yugdulu, let them grow up, Hamochim, Elu, the Hiechel, the Milui, Elu, so there should be like these Miluyim. Mochin the Gadas. Vayedecha b'zecha yugdulu b'zecha yizgadu loshen hagdolas hamochin. This is the concept of growing up the mochin. So he said. So I'm not sure that I read this part, but we'll read it in the black print as well. V'gam hamochin atzma dekatas ein be'etzem yugdulu. So they themselves, in their essence, they're growing. Because by reason, now this is going slightly different. It's going to talk about now mochin the godless are coming in, and as a result of that, everything is growing. They're also going to grow. Like we say that let me read this again. That I will explain the inyan of the Hagdolas, of Hagdolas, of it growing up in Milos Amen with the word of Yehi Shmei Rabbah. Excuse me, the whole phrase Yehi Shmei Rabbah that really grow. That's the part that really grows them up. B'tevis Ish Zesh, where is it? Where are we? Okay, so I guess it means the Achar Kach. How in fact did the Mochin the Kaddish begin to grow? Now I want to switch up to the top here. Let me see how far I went with this. We'll read a little bit across the top. Let's see the top a little bit. So now you brought in Imah. Now here comes the next Hod Yisod the Abba b'midas v'yis Kaddish, because the next word is going to be like this, and this is going to be referred to Kaddish. As we see, we asked the question over there when we looked at the Rishash, that it starts out talking about the Imah side, now moves to the Abba side because he's on the inside and seen second. He called Kadosh every time every time when we say Kadosh, that something is separate and different or holy, is comes from Abba. Kaniska Parshas Zinach Bezoar. So we look over that. He said, but here we're talking about Abba and his nine. Where she is called the long world. It's the world where everything is long. Which is the world coming, the coming world. So because on that we say Yisgadol, because it's coming, it's going to be growing up. But there we say when it grows up, then it becomes sanctified or holy. The Hod Yisod, the Abba Mislavshim Tok Netzach Hod Yisod, the Imah, they're inside there. And the only thing that you see from them, let me see if I got the right. So he said, Rak Bechinas HaYisod the Abba Levad. The only thing you see revealed here is the Yisod of Abba. As we know, is that the Ataras Yisod of Abba extends all the way down to the Yisod of the Yisod of Zeranpen. So there's an exposed area, but only of the Yisod. So therefore, all we could see Hamagula, because those two are covered up, and there's no place to gather a hold of them. You can't. They're covered. We can't penetrate that or see that, something like that. That's the concept of Yiskadesh. Heim Ozius Shakai Tok. So obviously we're gonna have to see what this means. Shakai refers to the bris or to the Yisod. What does 500 mean? So he says a little bit. Ki Shakai hu be Yisod. With the Shakai. Now if you take the Milui of Shakai, who be Gematria Tok, that's going to be 500. Interesting enough. The Nimsaki Yiskadesh, so therefore we come like this. When you say the word Yiskadesh, who Shem Shakai, but it also, it has its Milui along with it, for Yisod the Abba, and that is the Yisod of Abba. So we're going to stop there, and we'll come back to page Tafresh Samaches. Start here. Let me start here. And today is the 1st of Shevat. Okay, made that mark. There we go. And let's move along.